Welcome to Deck Analysis and Testing. Today we're looking at Constellars. Constellars is a deck that probably needs no introduction because everyone in Ranked is just playing this deck, but in case you've been living under a rock or just don't play PvP, here's what Constellar is about. Constellars are a light Xyz based deck with monsters that have levels ranging all the way from 3 to 6, which makes them terrible as an Xyz deck. Until one day, Konami said screw it. Who cares about matching levels? Let's just give them a skill that lets them exceed summon with monsters with any level. Oh, and some Constellars need a tribute to normal summon? Well, you don't anymore. The result of this revolutionary skill and a few new support makes this joke of an archetype one of the best decks in the game right now. Let's have a look at the cards. First is the free to obtain Constellar level 5 monster that I will not attempt to pronounce. When this card is normal or special summoned, you can add a Constellar monster from your deck to your hand. This is your main searcher, and it is usually very bad because it is level 5, but because of their skill, you can just normal summon this card without tributing. Next is our main extender, the level 4 Caduceus. If you control a Constellar monster, except for itself, you could special summon this card from your hand. During your main phase, you can add a Constellar spell trap from your deck to your hand, and also it gives an Xyz monster the effect to banish a light or dark monster before damage calculation when it battles that monster. Next is the level 3 Constellar. When this card is normal summoned, you can add one Constellar monster from your deck to your hand. It's similar to the level 5 one, but it only triggers when you normal summon this card, so it's a bit less good, but it pretty much does the same thing as the level 5 one. Next is a level 2 Constellar. You can tribute this card, special summon one Constellar monster from your hand or graveyard in face-up defense position for itself. What you can do is you can use your skill to reveal this card from your hand and then ascend 2 Constellars from your deck to your graveyard, and then revive one of them to start your combo. Next are the spells and traps. We have 3 copies of Xyz import. This card is really good as a free-to-play staple in Xyz decks. It is a quick play spell that allows you to target one Xyz monster you control and one monster your opponent controls with an attack that is less than your monster, and then attach that monster to your monster as a material. Next is Horror House, which is the usual, and Cloak and Dagger. And for the Constellar stuff, we have Constellar Star Cradle. Both the Constellar spells are searchable, so we are only playing one. Constellar Star Cradle can be activated by targeting 2 Constellar monsters in your graveyard and then adding those to your hand, but you cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this card. This card is really good because of your skill binning 2 Constellars from your deck to your graveyard, so this is basically a double search, but it does cost your battle phase, so it is usually just good when you go first. And we have 1 copy of Constellar Star Chart. This card lets you draw a card once per turn when you Xyz summon a Constellar monster, and it is not hard once per turn, so you can technically activate this card, make Pleiades bounce back the Star Chart after you drew a card, and then you activate Star Chart again, and then you make M7 or something if you're playing M7 in the expensive version, and then you can draw another card. For the extra deck, we're playing Pleiades. It is from a bundle, which is really nice. It only needs 2 level 5 light monsters, but I guess that doesn't really matter because your skill just lets you Xyz summon this card with any leveled monster. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach 1 material to bounce a card back to the hand. It's easy, it's simple, and it's strong. Next is Constellar Omega. This card is a rank 4, which lets you once per turn during either player's turn to detach 1 Xyz material to make all of your Constellars unaffected by spell or trap effects until the rest of the turn. This is really good in combination with your Pleiades to protect it from any sort of spell that would get rid of it from the field, like a Book of Moon or Dark Hole. Next is the other rank 4 Constellar. This card once per turn during the damage step of either player's turn, when a Constellar monster you control is attacking or being attacked, you can detach 1 material and that monster will gain 1000 attack. And finally, we have the rank 3 that we probably will not ever summon. Once per turn, you can detach from Xyz material and change all monsters your opponent controls to face-up defense position. This is just there because we can make it, and I guess this effect is sometimes useful, I guess. And finally, we have the generic links. We have 2 Draco Masters in combination with 2 Lamphorinkus. This is a pretty neat combo that I really like to use because it is low rarity and it is basically a link-free climbing combo that lets you pop a monster for free. Let's have a look at the skill. The skill is a really good one. Constellar Union is a legacy skill that can be used by any character. You can reveal 1 Constellar monster in your hand to your opponent and send 2 Constellar monsters from your deck to your graveyard. And if you Xyz summon a Constellar monster during this duel, you can use any leveled monster in your field as a material. And if you normal summon or set a Constellar monster, you don't need to attribute summon it. You can only special summon Constellar monsters while you are using the skill, except for the extra deck. That's why we can play generic links in the extra deck as well. This skill can be only used once per duel, but realistically, that's probably enough. So let's have a look at the expensive version. You probably have seen quite a bit of Constellars if you have been playing ranked, so I won't go through it too much. I prefer playing back row than playing hand traps, but just because I think back row is just stronger in general. But you can play stuff like Effect Veiler or DD Crow if you want to. So for the ratios, we're playing 3 level 5s, 1 Caduceus, 1 Pollux, 3 copies of Sombra, and 3 level 2s. And the basic idea is that if you open with any 2 copies of the level 5 and the level 4 and the level 2, just any a combination of any 2 of these cards will have you will be able to do a combo where you end with a 1 rank 5 Pleiades and any 1 rank 4 Xyz monster, which is pretty good. Considering it's just a 2-card combo that also gets you an extra draw as well because you get to search star chart in the middle of your combo. So you will pretty much always end on 1 rank 5 and 1 rank 4 plus some amount of back row, which is really strong. And when you're going second, you can even make M7 to bounce your opponent's stuff and use the effect of Pleiades during your own turn to bounce your opponent's monsters as well, which is pretty nice. And Nightmare Phoenix is also pretty good in this deck because if you go first and then your opponent ends turn while you still have monsters on your field, you can make Nightmare Phoenix first before you commit to anything else and then pop your opponent's back row and then you start comboing, because this deck can have a pretty strong follow-up just by having a single level 2 or the Sombra in your hand, which is full combo on their own. Okay, let's have a look at the replays. This deck really heavily prefers going first. It is a backward deck that has a monster that has a quick effect, so it is really nice that we get to go first in this game. We do open with 1 monster, which is enough. We're going to activate Constellar Star Cradle to grab the 2 cards that we bin off of our skill. And then we are going to normal summon to level 5 and try to grab a card, but fail because our opponent has an effect Veiler. Which is fine, we can just summon the guy that we grabbed to our hand. So we're going to search a spell, but he has another Veiler, so I guess we're going to just end on 1 Xyz monster and 2 set cards, which is still probably enough. It's still 3 disruptions. Our opponent is also playing Constellars. He's going to reveal his Pollux and send 2 of his own Constellars to graveyard, and then he will normal summon Pollux, use its effect to normal summon another monster, and now we're going to steal his monster, and he will reveal that he has the extender, but it's fine, you can just bounce that extender back, and now without any back row, he is going to basically lose to anything we put on board, and he is going to scoop. Okay, in our next game we are once again going first, which is really preferable. This deck honestly does have plays going second, especially in the expensive version. The expensive version, if you open with Pollux, you do have a way to play through 1 disruption, but for the free-to-play version, we don't really have that luxury of playing a Pollux because it is in a different box than the level 4 extender Caduceus, so we won't be playing that card. But we still have access to a lot of starters in this deck as well. For example, the level 3 is also a starter, even though most people don't play it in the expensive version. But it is nice for us as a free-to-play deck. Opponent will be summoning the level 4 Amazement monster and set free. We're going to bounce one of the back row before we do anything else. And during our own turn in the draw phase, we're going to immediately bounce another card before we commit. And he's going to activate his Cycle Coaster and attempt to search a monster. We're going to X-Season Port to prevent him from switching the target of this trap before the trap resolves. And then we're going to normal summon to level 2, grab ourselves back to level 3, which doesn't trigger its effect because it only triggers its effect when it is normal summoned, but I guess it's fine because we can just make an Xyz monster, draw an additional card, and just go in for lethal. Okay, in the expensive version, we are again going first, which is wonderful. Let's have a look at what we can do with the hand that we got. So as I said, a combination of the Sombra and the level 5 or the level 2 will get us full combo, so let's see that in action. We're going to use the level 4 to grab the Pox to hand, and then a Sombra's effect to summon the Pollux. Pollux gives us an extra normal summon, and then we're going to make Abyss Dweller. And now that we have the additional normal summon, we can use it on the level 5, and then grab ourselves the Caduceus, and then special summon itself from the hand, and then use its effect to grab Star Chart to our hand. We're going to activate Star Chart, so when we exceed summon our Pleiades, we get an extra draw as well. And then we draw into another monster, which is not ideal, but we still have one set card, which is probably enough. Our opponent is also playing Constellars. He is going to normal summon the level 5 to grab himself a monster, and that tells me if I bounce his monster, he will not have a way to continue extending, because the level 4 extender needs a Constellar on field, and he wasted his normal summon on a level 5 monster. So now that we know he has nothing, we are free to just combo off. But no, he actually has a Veiler, I guess, so we couldn't make another Xyz monster. I guess we'll just attack. That's fine with me.